Well,
doing some stuff.
greetings, everyone. Glad to have you with us one more time as we begin our odyssey into this new book, The Rays and the Initiations by Alice A. Bailey. And we are the Violet Flame Triad of the Molecular Order. It is August 20th, 2026. I just want to share what I sent out last week as a preface to last week's class. So we are studying the Rays and Initiations by Alice A. Bailey. Learn about the line of descending energy which has its origin outside our solar system and how it stimulates all the kingdoms in nature from the mineral up to the God kingdom. See how the planetary hierarchy is responsible for new trends and new methods and new ideas which will raise the consciousness of humanity up to group awareness and group initiation. Remember that in the new Aquarian age, no one rises into fuller realization without benefiting his entire group. It is for this reason that we have initiated the Gathering of Lights project and bring all high-minded and forward-thinking people into a closer association with each other. Together we rise. Please let us know if you would like to join us in this spiritual odyssey as we gather as lights to create heaven here on planet Earth. Just say yes. So we got about 100 people that are kind of looking over the edge, kind of like Elroy or Gilmore, whoever that guy was that was looking over the edge.
Kilroy.
Yeah, Kill. Okay. Gilroy or Kilmore. Well, Kilroy. Yeah, well, he was here. Uh, what I thought we'd do is start over with rule number one. That way we could have all the rules in one Zoom class, one what do they call them now? A pod,
Episode.
one episode. Thank you. Here,
or module.
there you go.
It's a training module. We want all 14 in one place.
We're going to get modulated here.
Uh,
Okay, I'll start with the first one, and then we'll look. We'll if you have any insight into these rules for applicants and disciples and initiates, we can discuss them, and then we can each take a turn going through these rules.
Well, after we've gone through reading the 14 rules, he takes time to explain all the 14 rules after.
Yeah, 780 pages worth. So we got a lot to look forward to. Okay, he says, I would now like to bring into a close relation the earlier imparted rules for applicants and the new rules for disciples, embodying the new group activity and group discipleship resulting in group initiation, which is all about Aquarian influence. These rules are 14 in number. Today, I will simply give you, first of all, the rule for the individual disciple, and then its higher corresponding rule for groups in preparation for group initiation, reminding you that such groups are ever composed of those who have taken the first initiation. And the name of these is Legion. They are to be found in every country. There are not, however, so many who are ready for the new era of group initiation. Okay, so it's a lot easier to go through individual personal initiation than it is as a group, as we're finding out. Okay, rule number one. So he has them divided into the first part is rules for applicants, and the second part is for disciples and initiates, and I'll differentiate between the two as we go along. Rule number one for applicants. Let the disciple search within the heart's deep cave. If there the fire burns bright, warming his brother, yet heating not himself, the hour has come for making application to stand before the door. For disciples and initiates, within the fire of mind, focused within the head's clear light, let the group stand. The burning ground has done its work. The cold, clear light shines forth, and cold it is, and yet the heat evoked by the group love permits the warmth of energetic moving out. Behind the group there stands the door. Before them opens out the way. Together the band of brothers onward move, out of the fire into the cold, and toward a newer tension. All right, Glenn, tell us what that means.
Well, what I'm hearing from that is, firstly, it's for the applicants, there is a level of judgment. It is this disciple that looks at the applicant to see, are you ready? Is there a fire in you? Are you ready for this path? So there is an element for the applicant to be considered. All right. And then for the disciple, okay, now that I'm with all the people that we've considered ready, now we start working on this life force, this light from within, enhanced by all of us.
Okay. What do you think the door represents?
Oh, just the next step.
What do you think, Ed?
Well, I'm reminded of one of the songs from the Self-Realization Fellowship, written by Paramahansa Yogananda. It goes, door of my heart, open wide, I seek to thee.
I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm reminded of a saying, and it said, there is this side and there is the other side, and in between are the doors.
I told you that last week.
That was a Jim Morrison quote.
The quote is actually, there are things known and there are things unknown, and in between them are the doors.
The doors. Yeah.
Yeah, that had an effect on me because I think we've all had experience with doors. I had a vision early in my life about climbing a ladder and confronting the door with no knob, just a door, and what I had to do to get through that door and what was on the other side was pretty spectacular and illusionary. Not illusionary. Il what's the word? Is illuminating.
Illuminating, visionary.
I
Yeah.
had a dream climbing the ladder and going through a trap door in the roof.
Oh, that's good. A trap door. Yeah, you might have had to solve a puzzle there to get through.
I was raised on the Narnia books, and many of the Narnia books, the door was a portal to another world.
My wife gave me that uh, book on Narnia.
There's
Little, but
seven books in the series.
yeah, I have one. Well, what I like about the rule for applicant is he warms his brother, yet heats not himself. In other words, he takes the attention off of himself and sees how he can be of service to others without wanting anything in return.
When you think of it just from an energetic viewpoint, it means someone who is connected and bringing the energy in, but is always sharing it, giving my energy. I give more energy than I take constantly, right? In
Well,
order to do that, I have to be connected.
that's good. That's like electricity flowing through a wire.
Exactly, exactly. And that's, I think, part of the evaluation that's here. Is this person here, are they learning everything for their own ego, for their own success, or are they doing it for the good of everything? And you can tell the difference.
Well, the individual always benefits,
Oh yeah, and that's fine.
and that's as it should be.
We don't need to suffer to be spiritual.
Don't have to be a martyr.
Mm.
What do you think, Cindy? What are you getting out of this first rule?
Well, it's just what you've all said before. You just have to be more concerned about your brother than yourself.
Mhm.
And you have to have a burning desire to be of service.
That's right. The burning ground has done its work. The clear, cold light shines forth, and cold it is, and yet the heat evoked by group love permits the warmth of energetic moving out. Well, love is warm. So, and together we rise onward into a newer tension. A newer tension. What do you think that means, Ken?
Newer attention?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, attention on a higher level, I suppose. He's got the capital D on door and the capital W on way. Now, DK speaks of a way to higher evolution, but that's far in the future for us. But the door here, I think he's talking about the door into pure reason and the intuition, because he mentioned before uh, group love. So he's talking about inclusiveness and love wisdom.
So do you think as we move forward from level to level, we'll create a newer tension, obviously? A newer
Yeah,
tension.
I think, yeah, and it may be a different type of tension, something we don't comprehend yet.
I might rephrase as a bigger challenge.
Yeah,
And
that
a
could,
new retention is a bigger challenge. Yes, we want challenges. That's the whole point of growing, is to be able to face more.
yeah, it's like Einstein said, whatever problems you think you're having with mathematics, I assure you mine are much stronger. Mine are much harder. Okay, Ken, hey, read number 2.
Rule 2, for applicants, when application has been made in triple form, then let the disciple withdraw that application and forget it has been made. For disciples and initiates, the word has now gone forth from the great point of tension. Accept it as a group, withdraw not now your application. You could not, if you would, but add to it 3 great demands and move forward. Let there be no recollection, and let memory rule, and yet let memory rule. Work from the point of all that is within the content of the group's united life.
Okay. So you're not dwelling on the past, but it's present with you.
Okay, so when he says this triple form, he's referring to also Rule 2 and White Magic. You,
Yeah,
you you have that one memorized, don't you?
yeah, yeah, I remember.
So how's that go again, Curtis? Do you remember you have that memorized in Rule 2 and White Magic?
Yeah, the sound swells out. I'd have to think about it for a second. Let's
The
just,
other day, last week, we read something that talked about the 3 different levels, which were mental, physical, and etheric. And I'm wondering if that's what they mean by applying in physical form. You must apply in the physical realm, in the mental realm, in the etheric realm, and then let it go.
yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll find out as we move along. Hey, Ed, read number 3.
For applicants, triple the call must be, and long it takes to sound it forth. Let the disciple sound the call across the desert, over all the seas and through the fires which separate him from the veiled and hidden door. For disciples and initiates, dual the moving forward. The door is left behind. That is a happening for the past. Let the cry of invocation issue forth from the deep center of the group's clear, cold light. Let it evoke response from the bright center, lying far ahead. When the demand and the response are lost in the great sound, move outward from the desert. Leave the sea behind and know that God is fire.
Ooh, I just like the way he writes.
Well, these aren't his words, actually. These from the old commentary, he usually says.
Yeah, they're deeply esoteric and mysterious.
Yeah, right.
I guess that's why it takes 600 pages to or
Yeah.
to break it down.
Yeah, I'm remembering triple the sound goes forth. I'll have to look that up in White Magic because
I think I remember. It's just your your lower mind and your emotions and your physical your physical etheric, like Glenn said, and your physical body all have to be controlled and calmed down, and in that sense, you're making the sound.
well, you have a triple sound. The physical emits a certain sound or tone, and the astral as well, and the mind. Do do do. So you have three different sounds that blend into one chord. We'll probably learn more about that as we go along, and what your own personal note might be. All right, thank you there, Ed. Okay, Cindy, read number 4.
Number 4, for applicants, let the disciple tend the evocation of the fire, nourish the lesser lives, and thus keep the wheel revolving. For disciples and initiates, let the group see that all the 18 fires die down and that the lesser lives return unto the reservoir of life. This they must bring about through the evocation of the will. The lesser wheels must not for aye revolve in time and space. Only the greater wheel must onward move and turn.
I don't think I'm going to share these 14 rules in public like I do the other classes because I don't think they're going to get much out of it. You never know, but that's my you really have to study this like we are to get to the bottom of what he's saying. I don't know
I
what
think
the 18 fires.
I think the 18 fires are each subplane of a plane, the lower planes, has a fire. And there's seven subplanes in the physical plane. So that's seven subplanes in the astral plane, that's 14, and 4
In the mental plane?
in the lower mental, yes. Four
Oh,
sub
that's yeah, that's I would never have thought of that.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting. That's probably what it is.
Okay, so 7 from the physical, 7 from the astral, and 4 from the lower mental. Well, that's as good as an interpretation as any, as I can see.
Yeah,
Did you think of that?
that's the only one we've got.
Yeah. Way to go,
No,
Cindy.
I think DK says that somewhere in the when he's elaborating later on.
Oh, well, maybe he does. Okay, number 5, Glenn. You're immutable. There you go.
As I said, I do that for politeness because when I cough, I don't want to interrupt
Well,
people's,
and other sounds.
yeah, and other sounds like when I dropped a glass in the middle of your statement, and it broke too.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. All right. Rule number 5 for applicants. Let the applicant see to it that the solar angel dims the light of the lunar angels, remaining the sole luminary in the microcosmic sky for disciples and initiates. In unison, let the group perceive the triad shining forth, dimming the light of the soul and blotting out the light of form. The macrocosmic whole is all there is. Let the group perceive that whole, and then no longer use the thought, my soul and thine.
Well, we know what the solar angel is, and we know what the lunar angels are. So we kind of understand here that the soul, the higher, has to control and dominate the lower, so that the higher remains the sole
This,
luminary.
this is probably the most easily understood of the ones we've had so far.
Yeah, kind of is.
The no longer use the thought, my soul and thine, I would guess, because we're ultimately all one.
Yes, it's
And
eliminating the separation.
yes, eliminating separation precisely.
Mhm.
All for one and one for all. It's us, we. There is no I in team.
I've got a book called The Soul of the Universe that I read many, many years ago, and it kind of reminds me of this.
The triad shining forth would be the Atma Buddhi Manas triad, the upper triad. That the elements of the our monad are reflected in.
Well, you have a personal triad and then a group triad. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what triad technology is all about.
He also DK also speaks of a spiritual triad that everyone has,
Yeah,
and
that
it's to do with it's outside of form, and that's Atma Buddhi Manas.
that's the atmic, the monadic, and the divine. So yeah, it's the formless worlds that we're entering into that we talked about in the first page. See what it takes to enter. Says it might be here of value, my brothers, if I again laid emphasis on the fact that the formless world is only entered when the aspirant has acquired somewhat the capacity to center himself on the abstract levels.
He
His
does talk a lot about the Atma Buddhi Manas
Yeah, the atmic, the Buddhic, and the divine. Right.
together as he calls it the spiritual triad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, number 6. For applicants, the purificatory fires burn dim, and lo, when the third is sacrificed to the fourth. Therefore, let the disciple refrain from taking life, and let him nourish that which is lowest with the produce of the second. For disciples and initiates, let the group know that life is one and naught can ever take or touch that life. Let the group know the vivid, flaming, drenching life that floods the fourth when the fifth is known. The fifth feeds on the fourth. Let then the group, merged in the fifth, be nourished by the sixth and seventh and realize that all the lesser rules are rules in time and space and cannot hold the group. It onward moves in life. So that just shows the succession from the lower planes to the higher planes.
That I think
Well,
that one
we know
is
that the
God.
fourth kingdom in nature is us, the human kingdom. The fifth is hierarchy.
Yeah. The third is the animal. And he says in the beginning that it's for applicants just starting on the path, it's best for people to be vegetarians if they possibly can, just in the very beginning of stages of the path, where he says
From taking life.
yeah, and the third kingdom is the animal kingdom, and it's sacrificed to the fourth, us, the human kingdom.
And the
That's,
third, when the third is sacrificed. Well, and also when the lower mind or the mind is surrenders to the soul, which is the fourth. That's the midway point is the soul. So the mind has to surrender to the soul as well as one kingdom to another. So there's a lot of correspondences here.
and and for disciple, that what he's saying there for disciples, at that stage, you don't have to be, you don't have to be a vegetarian
Right.
because there's no way you can really take a lot.
No, there's no such thing as annihilation.
That's
And
right.
the fifth feeds on the fourth. So the fifth
Exactly.
kingdom is benefited by the human kingdom,
Yeah.
and the higher triad is benefited by the intuition, which is benefited from the lower personality. So, it's an onward progression, and onward we move. Onward move in life, it says. Yeah, we're going to read about all these in in so many thousands of words here down the road.
Yeah.
All right, Ken, read number 7.
For applicants, let the disciple turn his attention to the enunciating of those sounds which echo in the hall where walks the master. Let him not sound the lesser notes which awaken vibration within the halls of Maya. For disciples and initiates, let the group life emit the word of invocation and thus evoke response within those distant ashrams where move the Kohans of the race of men. They are no longer men, as are the masters, but having passed beyond that lesser stage, have linked themselves with the great council in the highest secret place. Let the group sound a dual chord, reverberating in the halls where move the masters, but finding pause and prolongation within those radiant halls where move the lights which carry out the will of God.
Hmm. What are some of the sounds or lesser notes that would awaken vibration within the halls of Maya?
Well, things that have a grosser nature, gossip and swearing, and
Your lesser, your more.
Anger and hate,
Well,
things that bring you down.
well, what are the halls of Maya? Maya has to do with the pull of matter on the individual. So, yeah, words like, I gotta have this, I gotta have that, I gotta. I won't be happy until I get a new car. I won't be happy till I get a better house or a better anything. This is what stimulates the halls of Maya, stimulates your attraction
Lord,
to
please
the
buy
world.
me a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, my friends all have Porsches. I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
That's one of the songs I've been learning on my guitar.
Good old Janice. Well,
Yeah.
anything that takes us down into lower consciousness, into the halls of Maya.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I think
the,
there's a lot of, sorry, Ken, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, I think these applicants are the probationers, and they have to learn not to be not selfish. And then when they can be inclusive, and then they can be accepted into discipleship.
They are no longer men as are the masters, but having passed beyond the lesser stage, have linked themselves with the great council in the highest secret place. Let the group sound a dual chord, reverberating in the halls where move the masters, but finding pause and prolongation within those radiant halls where move the lights which carry out the will of God. It's a whole different rule or set of principles. So I think as a group, when we invoke the uh, the sacred sound from the fifth kingdom or to make contact with the fifth kingdom, I think our our sound is much more pronounced and prolonged because we're operating as a team, not as an individual. So, our sound is
I'm imagining this great hall and a choir. There's all these voices, and we're all singing the song, All You Need Is Love. Da, 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 da. And it echoes. This great hall is perfect for transmitting the sound of the voices.
well, now you're getting into the benefit of those ancient Gothic cathedrals
Hmm.
where they use color and light and sound and yeah, it's like a huge echo chamber.
Yes.
Hey, Curtis, I come across something interesting here just a day or two ago. I'll read it quickly. This is from Discipleship in the New Age, Volume 1. I don't have the page number, but it says, disciples who have taken the second initiation are regarded as probationary initiates, and only when they have taken the third initiation are they truly initiate from the standpoint of the hierarchy. The first initiation is sometimes spoke of as the Lemurian initiation, and the second as the Atlantean initiation. But the third initiation, that of our Aryan race, is technically regarded by them as the first initiation. This is a new angle upon which I would ask you to think. The term, therefore, of accepted disciples covers the stages of the first and second initiations. When a disciple has taken the third, he is no longer technically an accepted disciple, even though he still remains in the master's group until he has taken the fourth initiation. I'm pointing out these technicalities so that there may be clarity and proportion in your thinking.
Well, it has a lot to do with thinking. So the third initiation has to do with overcoming what? Ed,
Illusion.
illusion. Illusion is the third initiation has to do with the mind. The first with the material world, you're overcoming the pulls of Maya. The second is overcoming astral influences, and the third initiation is overcoming illusion. And the masters cannot work with a disciple until or unless he has overcome the misguided direction of illusion, where he sees unclearly, like through a glass darkly. So he has to uh, overcome the pulls of all kinds of illusions Now, one of the labors of Hercules is in Gemini, and he has to overcome the poles of illusion, glamour, and Maya in his search for the apples of the Hesperides. And one one of the illusions that he had to overcome was he had this glamour where he was attracted to this dynamic teacher that was really good with words and energy, and he persuaded Hercules to follow him. And Hercules was so taken by this teacher, uh, I'll think of his name in a second when I try to, that he surrendered to this teacher. And this teacher, Bucephalus, I think is his name, I'll think of it, um, took advantage of Hercules and he chained him to a slab of stone and chained him and wouldn't let Hercules move for a year. And eventually Hercules remembered, oh, Antaeus, no, was it Antaeus? No, I'll think of it. Anyway, Hercules remembered the words of Nereus, who told him that the truth was within himself. And so Hercules began to listen to the light of his soul through his intuition, and it revealed to him that this teacher was a false teacher. And so Hercules rose up, it broke the chains, and bound the teacher to the slab and left him there. But so he was held in abeyance of by this illusion that this teacher had the truth, all the truth that he needed, and that was an illusion. So as long as a person can be misguided by the pulls or the influences of another person, another authority, he cannot really be used by the hierarchy because there's too much danger in revealing higher truths to a person that is unskilled and that hasn't overcome those pulls because they can reveal in a moment of weakness certain keys to the mysteries when they shouldn't. So you have to ask yourself, what are the illusions that I'm working on overcoming? I don't know.
Well, we've overcame enough. We're in this group.
You're right.
I mean, you stop and think about it. A lot of people come and go, but they don't stick around because they have so much illusion. They can't. They don't even know what we're talking about. So they leave the group.
Well, perfection brings imperfection to the surface, and if the person is so enveloped in imperfection, the way he thinks and acts and his judgments, then he won't want to have that light shine on his imperfections, they being many, they being legion.
For me, I met Curtis back in January, and the concept that came to my mind was look at all those doors. Look at all those doors. That's what you opened up for me. That's why I keep coming back every week, because every week new doors open.
Well, thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, to the master, to the masters, we're we're like little children. We're opening up the door every day, trying to find our way.
Wonderful. Okay, so that's uh hey, Ed, read number 8.
Well, before I do, I want to remind myself of something that I was told by a master back in my group in the 70s, coming through the medium. He said, "You have reached a door where those who do dwell have become aware of you." And that's what we have to recognize. They are aware of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and there's something else that I've noticed in reading DK. They have where they said we just read where the higher is feeding on the lower. They have positions and they're moving forward in the hierarchy, it's going to need people to fill those positions. So they
You
need,
come in. That's where you come in, Ken.
yeah, they
Everything
need,
rises. Everything rises. You know,
Right.
yeah.
That's a good
So,
point.
so disciples are needed.
Right.
okay, rule 7 for applicants. Let the disciple turn his attention to the enunciation of those sounds which echo
Did that.
within the
We did
hall.
that one, Ed. We were next on rule
Right.
8.
Rule
Oh,
number eight.
okay.
Number eight.
Well, I guess I like this one. I was going to read it again.
Okay, I'm
We,
game. I'm game.
we, we probably need to do it
Yeah.
again.
For applicants, when the disciple nears the portal, the greater 7 must awaken and bring forth response from the lesser 7 upon the double circle. For disciples and initiates, let the group find within itself response to the greater 7 groups, which carry out the hierarchical will, which will with love and understanding. The group contains all 7, the perfect group, the lesser 7, the greater 7, and the planetary 7 form one great whole. And there the group must know. When this is realized and the law of the supplementary 7 is understood, that the group understand the 3 and the 1. This they can do with the united breath and the united rhythm.
Okay. So we go from triads to septinates. That's a creative number.
I immediately hope that in the rest of the book, it starts to define what the 7 are.
Oh, it does. That's long.
Good.
Well, those planetary 7 must be the 7 sacred planets.
Yeah. The 7 rounds, 7 chains, 7 spirits before the throne.
Yeah.
7 days in the week. It's 7 days of creation. 7 planes.
Okay. There,
I'm
isn't there? Oh, go ahead, Cindy.
I'm just going to say I'm looking at the rules for applicants that we read in Initiation Human and Solar way back then. The rules for applicants are in that book
Right.
towards the end of the book, and he expounds upon that, and he says here that the greater 7 is the 7 head centers in the body, and the lesser 7 is the 7 uh chakras.
Chakras.
Yeah, he said that is the heart, the head, the heart, throat, solar plexus, base of the spine, spleen, and organs of generation, in that order.
So the
The
6
less,
chakras.
yeah, that's the lesser 7.
What is the greater 7 again? What did you say?
The greater 7 are the corresponding, all those centers have a correspondence in the head, and so there's 7 head centers that
What?
are,
I didn't realize that. What are the 7?
yes, they aren't listed here, but I've come across that before, and JJ's talked about. They're like the medulla oblongata, the pituitary, those pineal. Those are some of the centers in the head. There's actually 7.
Well, the 3 primary are the pineal, the pituitary, and the alta major center. Those
Yeah,
are
alta.
your alta major. Those are your 3 primary, and so
Yeah,
you'd have 4 secondary that would align with them, not so much correspond, but align like with
yeah.
the 3 aspects and the 4 attributes kind of thing.
Under Rule 8, for applicants, it says the would-be initiate must develop somewhat the vibration of the 7 head center, and thus sweep into increased vibratory activity the 7 centers in the body upon the etheric plane.
Okay. So
That's for
that's how you open up your third eye, your ajna center, probably is what he's talking about. Okay, who's read last?
I did.
Well, Cindy, it's your turn, hon.
uh,
Oh,
rule 9. For applicants, let the disciple merge himself within the circle of the other selves. Let but one color blend them, and their unity appear. Only when the group is known and sensed can energy be wisely emanated. For disciples and initiates, let the group know there are no other selves. It always gets back to that, doesn't it? No separation. Let the group know there is no color, only light. And then let darkness take the place of light, hiding all difference, blotting out all form. Then at the place of tension, and at this darkest point, let the group see a point of clear cold fire. And in the fire, right at its very heart, let the one initiator appear, whose star shone forth when the door first was passed.
well, so we're creating a union of souls. There is no color, only light, which is the synthesis of all colors. So
And all these, it seems like these experiences that the initiate goes through when he is at his darkest point, is there's always a point of tension that he achieves, and he reaches that point of tension, and then he's able to do his next thing.
right.
Yeah, I
Don't
was
you
just
think?
going to say,
Go ahead,
I
Ken.
remember, I remember DK saying that darkest point that the disciple must struggle. You know, it's like the caterpillar in the cocoon. We have to struggle. It's not going to be easy. We have.
That's right, Ken.
Well, yeah, you're right, Ken. And when you have to take your next step through that point of tension, there's fear behind it. Because you're moving into the unknown. Um, like for some people, that might be public speaking. That would be creating a point of tension. Wow, I'm scared to death. Don't make me get out there. But yet that's your next step, so you have to take it. And so it's like the butterfly out of the cocoon. You know, you're not going to fly bright like a monarch as long as you don't take that next step. And no one can help you. If they help open that chrysalis, the butterfly will die. You have to go through it through that dark night on your own. But then you get the reward too. You know about that, Glenn. You've done things that you were afraid to do it first, and then you learned to master them, and you're no longer afraid. And now you have to ask yourself, well, gosh, now what's my next point of tension?
You know, when I was a boy, my father was teaching me how to ride my bicycle. So he grabbed the handlebar and he grabbed behind the seat and he started, and I sat on the bike with my feet on the pedals and he walked me along and then he started running and and I'm going, don't let go, don't let go.
And then he let go.
And he let me go and I went about 10 or 15 feet and then I crashed. And he came and I was fine. And he said, yeah, if you want to ride your bike, sooner or later, you got to do it by yourself.
We all remember that first.
Yeah, and I was, 8 years old, and I learned that lesson. Yeah, you know what? I got sooner or later, I got to take that shot.
I
So
had a little bike
I fell over a lot of times.
when I was five. When I was five, I had a little bicycle, but it was scary, Now I look at it, it was really a small toy, but boy, when you're five, things are pretty big back then. My dad was sure big. I'll bet
Yeah,
your dad was big to you too, huh,
oh,
Ed?
yeah.
Well, I didn't have a bicycle. I bought one myself when I was 12, selling newspapers at the corner.
I think we all had a paper route. I certainly did. That's when I learned to hate the wind. It hit those paper bags, those saddlebags, and slow me down like a parachute.
Hmm.
Okay, well, let's see. I think Glenn, you're on number 10.
I believe I am next with number 10. For applicants, the army of the voice. The divas in their serried ranks work ceaselessly. Let the disciple apply himself to a consideration of their methods. Let him learn the rules whereby the army works within the veils of Maya. For disciples and initiates, the rules for work within the veils of Maya are known and have been used. Let the group widen all the rents within these veils, and thus let in the light. Let the army of the voice be no more heard, and let the brothers onward move within the sound. Then let them know the meaning of the Om, and let them hear that Om, as it is sounded forth by him who stands and waits at the very center of the council chamber of the Lord.
Yeah. Okay. Let the group widen all the rents within those veils, and thus let in the light.
The army of the voice are the builders of form. And they build according to your word.
Well, maybe you have to destroy some of the things that you've built. You have to rent those veils of creation to create something greater. The army of the voice is what, isn't that what you put into play when you want to create something, the elementals.
Right.
So the army of the voice is no longer being heard. So we can pay attention to the sacred sound. You shift from the army of the voice to the sacred sound. The
And
whole,
that's a vibrational shift as well. The sound has a vibration. By connecting with that, you change your vibration.
you sure as heck do.
Uh,
You're vibrating at a more celestial rate than you were when you joined this group, Glenn.
mhm,
You're
mhm.
becoming purified.
I'm working in many different levels in many different ways, and yeah, it's a great time in time right now. Very grateful to be here now in a very volatile world, and yet a very connected world. We have more advantages than we've ever had before as humans.
Boy, isn't that the truth? For people who think that the world is getting worse, when the pioneers crossed the plains in the 1840s and 50s, you risk life and limb. You never know who is coming over the next hill.
Yeah. Or what was under the next rock.
Yeah, from rattlesnakes
Yeah.
to rattled men, thieves and highwaymen, out there after easy prey. These families that were carrying their abundance across the plains were just easy prey for these thugs and robbers.
Mhm.
But the difference is back then, everything wasn't revealed through the press and the media like it is today.
No, you found out about it 3 months later.
Yeah, and then they saw your dead bones bleaching
Mm.
white on the plains. Yes, you're right. We are really at an opportune time in our
You know,
planetary evolution.
The hidden is coming to the surface.
Yeah, that's for sure.
mhm,
And
mhm.
we're gonna help bring all things to the surface too. Shout truths from the mountaintops.
We shake the spear of truth in the face of ignorance.
That's right. We'll become Shakespeare's. Shake those spears.
What encourages me is my awareness of the numbers. I mean, right now, today, there's 6 of us here, and each of us carries forward our message and each of us helps uplift the vibration. But there's another group meeting somewhere else, and another group met this morning, and it's on and on and on. There's thousands of people doing this work, and they may be doing it differently, like the way that we're doing it with the Alice Bailey books and stuff. I'm loving this. There's other groups that are doing uplifting work from a different viewpoint,
Oh,
but
there are
it's but
heroes
it's
all around the
still,
world. Yeah, there are.
Well,
it's still
yeah,
changing things.
this is probably the seventh group I've been in.
Mhm.
Well, we wouldn't be complete without you, Ed. That's for sure. Okay, let's finish this up. We're getting close. Rule
We're only
number,
halfway through.
uh,
We're halfway through.
yeah, number 11. Nowhere more than, there's only 14 rules.
Yeah.
We're on number 11. For applicants, let the disciple transfer the fire from the lower triangle to the higher and preserve that which is created through the fire at the midway point. For disciples and initiates, let the group together move the fire within the jewel in the lotus into the triad, and let them find the word which will carry out that task. Let them destroy by their dynamic will that which has been created at the midway point. When the point of tension is reached by the brothers at the fourth great cycle of attainment, then will this work be done. Okay, well, we're moving from the personality, which is sublimated to the soul, which is sublimated to the higher triad through points of tension along the way.
There's also a great level of responsibility being offered to the group. That particular rule is all about the group taking the actions, the group doing the work. Hierarchy saying, okay, now you know what you're doing. Go ahead and do it.
Well, one of the things he says to do is pass out these blue books, share them with other people,
Mhm,
or your own writings. I'm sharing my own writings.
mhm.
Then I can use my writings to lead people into these blue books or other books. Um, we're going through Gods of the Bible that my uncle wrote, which is pretty illuminating. The Unveiling, which he wrote several books that are very illuminating. So, sharing words, the written word, I think is very fundamentally paramount. Okay, Ken, read number 12.
For applicants, let the disciple learn to use the hand in service. Let him seek the mark of the messenger in his feet, and let him learn to see with the eye which looks out from between the two. For disciples and initiates, let the group serve as Aquarius indicates. Let Mercury speed the group upon the upward way, and let Taurus bring illumination and the attainment of the vision. Let the mark of the Savior, as the group toils in Pisces, be seen above the aura of the group.
Well, the mark of the messenger, that immediately brought Mercury to mind because he's the messenger of the gods. And let the group serve as Aquarius indicates. Well, we know what that means. What does that mean, Cindy?
where the water that is poured forth for thirsty men.
Right on. Exactly. And what is the water? The water represents what?
Water of the soul, water of spirit.
I think,
All,
go ahead, Cindy.
I was just going to say all the, spiritual understanding and that you can, reasonably give someone. You have to sort of gauge how you deal with the other person sort of based on what they are, can take in.
Yeah, the water, sometimes it's a trickle, sometimes it's a flood.
Yeah.
Also, service, you have to look at the individual that's in front of you. They may be, they may have lost a loved one and they don't want to hear deep philosophy. Maybe service for them would just be giving them a little bit of your time.
Yes.
Maybe taking them to lunch. Maybe it's someone who can't afford lunch and this is the way you serve them is to buy them lunch. There are different ways that people need served, and you have to use your intuition and your real smarts to determine what does this person really need, and how can I be of service to this person in the here and now.
And that's an important lesson that I had to learn early in my healing practice, because I had to learn it wasn't about my needs or my desires. I want to fix someone. Someone comes in and I see something wrong and I want to fix it. And I realize it's not my role. It's not about me and what I desire. I'm here to offer healing to that recipient and they can use it as they wish. Right. And it was the taking away of that ego need to, I can heal people.
Well, didn't the first rule suggest that we take the attention off of ourselves?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. I'd like to make a comment here on the Rule 12, for the applicants. It says, let him seek the mark of the messenger in his feet. And you pointed out the messenger is Mercury. And Mercury's feet had wings.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of that Red Bull commercial. I'm not sure if you're seeing it where you
Yes.
are, but I have wings.
You remember DK? BK said he's the messenger for the hierarchy.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is, isn't he? Maybe he was Mercury. Okay. Let's see. That was who read the last one? Was that you, Ken?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. Then we're on number 13. How about you read number 13, Ed, and then Cindy will top us off.
For applicants, four things the disciple must learn and comprehend before he can be shown the inmost mystery. First, the laws of that which radiates, the five meanings of magnetization make the second. The third is transmutation, or the secret loss of alchemy. And lastly, the first letter of the word, which has been imparted on the hidden name egoic. For disciples and initiates, let the group get ready to reveal the hidden mystery. Let the group demonstrate the higher meaning of the lessons learned. And these are four and yet are one. Let the group understand the law of synthesis, of unity and fusion. Let the threefold mode of working with that which is dynamic carry the group together toward the higher three, where the will of God holds sway. Let transfiguration follow transformation, and may transmutation disappear. Let the Om be heard right at the center of the group, proclaiming God is all.
Uh-huh. Well, at one point, my uncle and I started a group called the Synthesis Group. And of course, people had a hard time saying that, so we had to change it, change the name. But we wrote these 12 principles of synthesis, which were all about bringing people together into a fused association. It was something we wrote so that every group could identify with other groups and not cause division. Well, I've sent them all out, so I won't go into them, but there are 12 principles that we came up with together. And we'll do an ohm here in a minute and pretend and see it's all connected. Any other comments on that? We have to demonstrate the higher meaning of the lessons learned.
Well, like we said earlier, there are correspondents, and there's always a higher meaning and a higher correspondent.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Well, Cindy, finish us off here and we'll see
Well, this is a quick one. Rule 14. For applicants, listen, touch, see, apply, know. And for disciples and initiates, it's know, express, reveal, destroy, and resurrect. With regard to the applicant's words, the 5 words, in Human and Solar, DK says, these words concern what the Christian might aptly call the consecration of the 3 major senses and their utilization in the evolution of the inner spiritual life, application then made of that which is learned and ascertained, followed by the fruition of realized knowledge. So that's what those first 5 refer to. So it's quite obvious that for disciples and initiates, the second 5 words are much more sort of for an advanced person beyond the applicant.
Well, yeah, he takes in consideration that you're beyond
Yeah.
just the applicant. Now, you it takes for granted that you know certain things, that you express certain things, you reveal what is necessary, you destroy what is useless, and you raise up matter, you learn to resurrect your own body, which gives you one of the keys to eternal life, by the way. Okay, so let's all join hands and let the Om be heard right at the center of the group, proclaiming God is all. Oh. God is love. One more. Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, if they didn't hear that, they got to get hearing aids. Okay, this is the Great Invocation, stanzas 1 and 2. The first given in 1935. Let the forces of light bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. Let men of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all men be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us to do our part. Stanza number 2, given in 1940. Let the lords of liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons and daughters of men. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and coming save. Come forth, Almighty One. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. Come forth, Almighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, Almighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, Almighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil must now end. As the lights come forth, riding upon their mighty steeds to do great works upon this land. Let it be so. Amen. Okay, we're riding mighty steeds. I can see Cindy on one now, doing mighty works. Oh. All right, you mighty warriors of light, onward to the victory, forward to the next point of tension, and fear
have
not.
fun along the way.
Right, and fear not as you jump into the abyss. Out of the darkness will come a greater measure of light through friction, my friends.
Well, thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Have
See
a
you all
wonderful week. Thank you.
Big thank you to all. Okay, love you guys.
Love you too.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night.
Time to go.